Hello everybody, my name is Julia and I'm here today to do the first video in a series looking at the tarot deck. I plan to do a video for every card. Some of them I might clump together, like I might do all the knights together, all the queens together, but to start with I'm going to go through the major arcana and we'll have a look at some of the meanings of the cards, we'll have a look at some of the cards, and then we'll have a look at some questions that you can use with each particular card if you're interested in using tarot for self-reflection and personal growth. So, here is the Fool. This is card 0 of the tarot deck. I think the Fool is generally representative of our inner child. It's ruled by air and Aquarius and Uranus. So anything to do with inner child work is generally Fool energy. So when we look at the Fool, we can see that he's so filled with daydreams really that he doesn't see the cliff that he's about to fall over. We could call this a state of non-fear, a state of going with the flow. This card is associated with infinite possibilities, the stillness before action, a pivotal moment in life. The Fool is on his way to new beginnings. There's a sense of anticipation, a sense of adventure, the beginning of the hero's journey. If you remember, I did record a video some time ago called The Hero's Journey, which talks about the major arcana and the journey of the Fool. So yeah, he indicates possibilities, a new home, a new job, a new life, renewal, movement, new opportunities of all kinds. In his higher realms, he expresses ecstatic joy, new feelings, new ways of being, calculated risk-taking, initiative, being psychologically healthy, open to mystical and conscious-raising opportunities, and he learns from his mistakes. He needs to, doesn't he? He's the Fool at the start of his journey. So, in his lower realms, he can lack discipline, can be immature, impulsive, irresponsible, irrational, insecure, suffer from obsessions, manias, an inability to listen, carelessness, unable to pay attention in detail, infatuation, sexual impulsiveness. So yeah, lots and lots of messages there involved with the Fool, depending on whether he's read in a reading in his higher or lower realms, really. So on the table here, we've got lots of Fools. This is the Fool from the traditional Rider-Waite deck. As you can see, he's what I would expect a Fool to be like, really, in his sort of silly clothing, with his head in the air, his nose in the air, carrying few possessions, not really knowing where he's going. We also have the Fool here in the Tarot of the New Vision, and this is the other perspective of this card, really. So with this card he's looking forward, and in this card we're looking to see what he's actually looking at. And here you can see that if he was to step over the cliff, there's a volcano erupting there. So that really is a state of inner trust, isn't it? There's a real sense of trust in the universe, really, within these cards, that the universe will provide, that the universe will protect you. We also have quite a similar Fool in the Osho Zen Tarot. I think again Osho describes this card as a card of infinite possibilities of, I think the only thing he carries there with him is his white rose, which is a symbol of purity and trust and innocence. And he has faith in the universe. He has faith in his path, in the way forward. We have here this very special card from a very special deck, actually. This is from a very old Visconti deck that somebody, a very, very dear friend, a very kind friend, bought for me. This beautiful deck here called the Visconti. And this deck originates from 1975, and it's obviously a reprint from an original deck of tarot cards that was printed in the mid-15th century, I believe, in Milan. So this is obviously what a fool would have been viewed as in that time, I guess, really. And, you know, here we see somebody sort of dishevelled, not well dressed, with his stockings round his ankles, with feathers in his hair, with dirty feet, carrying a bat. It's a similar kind of energy, I guess, isn't it, to a Rider-Waite Fool. You can see the energy there, but it's also at the same time, it's kind of, as I said, I think it's kind of representative of its time, isn't it? That this fool here would have been a very poor person, somebody with not a lot in the world, really. Somebody who would have had to have had some trust, I guess, in the universe, really, to bring them what they needed. Yeah. We have here an Anna Kay Fool, and this is a very similar energy to, this is a contemporary deck, this is quite a modern deck, this is a non-religious deck, so it's a gorgeous deck, actually, emotionally, to express emotions. And I think in this card we can just see the kind of sheer abandonment of this chap here. You know, he's just really lost in his own little world, lost in the moment, going with the flow, just caught up in the excitement and pleasure of his new adventure. The excitement of his new adventure, you can really see that and feel that in this card particularly. We have another quite modern fool here. This is Tyrion from the Game of Thrones deck. And obviously, while he's depicted as the fool here, Tyrion is no fool. He's probably in Game of Thrones one of the wisest people there, really. You know, he's lived with this appalling family all his life that abused him and treated him poorly, and he's had to kind of adjust and find his own way in life, I guess, really. So yeah, Tyrion, a fool but no fool. We have the cat as the fool in my gorgeous Mystical Cats tarot deck. You can almost imagine the scene of this, really, that this is a cat who has just gone out of his cat flap, just gone out of his front door, and that is his little kingdom, isn't it? He's off on his next adventure here. He stops to sniff all the flowers and all the plants and see who's been in his garden, see who's been on his territory. And I guess that every time this cat sets foot through his cat flap or outside the front door, it is the beginning of a new adventure for him. The cat is most definitely going with the flow, is in the present moment. He could be on his way to new beginnings, a new adventure here. Yeah. We have the Fool from the Psychic Tarot deck here, which is called New Beginnings. This is another very contemporary card with a slightly different take on the Fool, in that the Fool is female here, which we don't see too often in tarot. And she's got her bag packed, she's got her wand, and she stepped out of her front door, hasn't she, into the unknown. She's kind of bravely stepped out into the unknown here with the world beneath her feet. She's looking straight ahead, not up in the air. So there's a slightly different feel about this card, isn't there? She's slightly more purposeful. She looks like she might be slightly more equipped for her journey. But it's the start of a new journey nonetheless. And the last card that I've got here to show you is from the beautiful Lightsaber deck, where we see a young girl here who looks like she's just about to abandon herself, really, and fall backwards into the water, to fall backwards into the flow of life. She's got her wand there, she's got a crystal with her. She's got some of the things that she'll need for her journey, but it looks like she's just about to abandon herself to this new possibility, to this new potential. Certainly another state of non-fear, of going with the flow. So, some of the questions that I think that are relevant to ask yourself, because obviously when you're working with the tarot, I think if you're learning tarot, something that's very good to do is to have a daily card study, and that is to draw one card every day that you study in depth, that you look at the imagery, you feel the energy of the card, you try to pick up any sensations in your body that the card might give you. You have a little look at the guidebook that comes with it, and you try to apply that card to your day. See how many times you could see that energy within your day. See where that energy manifests itself within your day. Learning tarot, I think really, anybody can learn the deck, anybody can learn a deck of cards and the meaning from the book about them, but I think to really learn tarot cards, it's important to develop a personal relationship with them, and that means that you have studied them in depth. You've thought about how they reflect in your own life, you've thought about how those energies and those archetypes reflect in your own personality and in your own life. They can be very useful for shadow work, which is trying to look at the things within yourself that you may have buried or hidden or suppressed. So I've come up with a few questions here that might be useful if you're interested in looking at the Fool's energy within yourself. And that would be, what things in life are you open to? So that would be something to reflect upon, whether you're closed to certain people or situations, or whether you're open to them, whether you're open to new experiences. How much do you trust in life? Does everything have to be planned and controlled? How much are you able to be spontaneous? What are you afraid of? What prevents movement in your life? What do you feel foolish about? We all have things that we feel silly about. What would be fun to do if you could do anything that you wanted to do? What calculated risks have you taken recently? Where have you been impulsive? And how did this affect your life and the life of those around you? And what areas of your life require attention and growth? I think that they're all very, very good questions to ask yourself if you want to study the energy of the Fool. So I hope that you found this little video here helpful, and I shall be back soon with the Magician, I expect. So thank you for being here with me.